So, at Austin City Hall, which is kind of your main stomping grounds, you said you obviously cover most of Central Texas, but Austin being the hub of that and where a lot of things permeate out from, right?
Yes, yeah.
So you spend a lot of time there. Some of the bigger issues on the slate coming up right now and some of the main things that you are having conversations about include property taxes,
Yep.
right? It's that time of year. And so tell us what's going on with property taxes and specifically protesting appraisals. What does that mean?
Yeah. So it kind of backing up to, your property taxes, your tax bill. That's typically what homeowners are most worried about each year is how much is my tax bill going to go up? And that's a complex question that has a lot of stakeholders involved.
Okay.
Ultimately, your property taxes are guided by the rates that your local jurisdictions set. So like the city of Austin or Austin Independent School District. And so that setting of the tax rate actually doesn't happen until the fall.
Okay.
And that they adopt a tax rate, which then is applied for that coming year. And so starting in January, that's when your local appraisal district, like the Travis Central Appraisal District, is responsible for determining the value of your property, which then is used in that tax calculation. And so that tax calculation is pretty simple, or I'm going to dumb it down to a very simple equation.
We appreciate that.
It's a little more complicated.
That's okay.
But it's essentially your property value that is set by the appraisal district as of January 1st. So what your home would sell for if you sold it on January 1st of that year. And you take that value times the tax rate of your local jurisdiction, and that gets how much taxes you would pay for your property. Of course, you have to do that multiple times because your property is in more than one taxing jurisdiction, and so you just sum up all those taxable values.
So, for example, if you owned a home that they determined was worth $500,000, and then the sum of all those taxing jurisdictions came to 2%, then you would take the 2% times 500,000, and you would have a $10,000 tax bill at the end of the year.
No, actually,
no,
yeah. So you take if your taxable value of your property is $500,000.
Okay.
You would take that times the city of Austin's tax rate.
Okay.
And that equals a dollar value, and that's how much you owe to the city of Austin. Then you would do that same calculation for your school district and any other taxable jurisdiction you're in. And so your total tax bill would be all those sums.
Gotcha.
Essentially, you're paying to each jurisdiction.
So order of operations. Which
yes.
is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We do multiplication first, and then we add the sums together to get your final tax bill.
Yes, yeah. And so the biggest component of that, or the thing that a homeowner has probably the most control over, is that property value. The tax rates are set by your local jurisdictions. There is a public process in setting those tax rates. So you as an individual can go down in the fall when those tax rates are set to, argue that the city or your school district should have a lower tax rate, So, but again, that's set by an elected body typically. So your voice is always heard, but they will set that tax rate based on the needs of their entity. But your property value is set by your appraisal district, and there is a process in place to protest that value. Okay. So if you think the value that the appraisal district has set is too high, you can protest that and hopefully ultimately lower that value, which then ultimately lowers the value of your tax bill.